So what is it that when people are pressing into the South Carolina backcountry, if they're not growing, they're obviously not growing rice. Some of them can grow indigo. What are they doing in the backcountry?
Some are growing tobacco, not much. Although around Spartanburg there was a fairly sizable patch of folks growing tobacco. They're basically subsistence farmers. Corn, and of course later on when we get after the Revolution and Washington's administration, the Whiskey Rebellion, the best way to get that corn to market most profitably is to turn it into whiskey.
That's actually something that's almost never talked about. The assumption that the Whiskey Rebellion is peculiar, that whiskey distillation and resistance to the whiskey tax is peculiar to Pennsylvania, when it all the way down the Piedmont.
Yeah, most of these folks who came into the Carolinas, as you mentioned, they were very, certainly in terms of class different. They were Thomas Jefferson's yeoman farmers, if you will. They weren't hard scrabble because the land was still good. It's red clay now, but there was about 6 to 12 inches of topsoil when those folks moved in, so they could clear the land, plant some corn, let the pigs root for acorns and round them up once a year, and hopefully some of them put in. Eventually, by the Revolution, you've got little settlements with sawmills and a grist mill and that kind of thing. Those folks in the backcountry really were trying to improve their lives, and they weren't interested in the quarrel between the Rutledges and the Draytons and the Moultries of Charleston as to whether or not, this or that was going to happen in terms of politics and what the governor did. They wanted to, it was basically it's the frontier, the American dream. Leave me alone, let me cultivate my land, maybe I'll get enough to eventually buy a slave or two and move on up the ranks.